Joining me now, Marc Morial, President and CEO of the National Urban League, kicking off its annual conference today, and Republican governor and former presidential candidate John Kasich. Marc Morial, Governor DeSantis vigorously defending. Good morning. It's good to see you. I'm sorry we've had so much other news today, but I want to get to this. He's been defending the Florida education standards. And, you know, there are maybe some positive things in it. We're going through it. But this really stands out, of course, saying that there were positive aspects to slavery because enslaved people could learn some skills.
Let me just say this. What Governor DeSantis doesn't understand, enslaved Africans brought skills to the United States. They brought skills to North America. They were farmers. They were carpenters. They were builders. They were iron workers. In effect, they were skilled as they arrived to the shores of the United States. And the idea that you got skills that you could use later in life, there was no later in life, but being enslaved, except for maybe the last generations that were freed by the Emancipation Proclamation and the 13th Amendment. This is stomach churning. It is absolutely insulting for a person and people of the educational levels of Governor DeSantis and the education establishment in Florida to posit this and think that people will go along with it is absolutely absurd. I am a person who majored in economics and African-American studies, and the very notion that you're going to engage in sort of a lost cause revisionist history and try to indoctrinate the young people of Florida with this garbage is going to be resisted. It's going to be resisted in Florida, in Texas, and in any single state. It is nonsensical. And the idea is that why are you doing this other than as a ploy to try to enhance what is already a failing presidential candidacy?
Governor Kasich, NBC's Matt Dixon is reporting that the DeSantis campaign is going to start using two fundraising vehicles that have been dormant, including a joint fundraising committee and a leadership PAC, allowing them to split costs, let donors who maxed out give more. So they've had a problem. They have too few small donors. Only 17% of their donors are small donors who can repeatedly give and extend a campaign. How critical is the debate next month now and Iowa coming up?
Well, first of all, I want to associate myself with Mark's comments. I mean, there is absolutely no redeeming value in any way, shape, or form about what happened during the period of slavery. It's just kind of impossible that anybody would have tried to wring something good out of it. It's nuts. In terms of his problem, look, he's getting a lot of bad headlines now. I saw earlier this week that he was saying that he was going to pivot to be more positive, to talk about positive things that would put him in a new light. I think this whole road that he's been on, the anti-woke road, I've been saying, Andrea, as long as you and I have been talking here, it's not going to work. It doesn't work. It comes across as angry. It comes across as divisive. And I think if he were to start to move to a more positive explanation about the things that he did in Florida while he was governor, I think it could help him. But look, you know, people they say he's inevitable as the number two. Now they say he's dead. You know, no, it's not true. He's got time to recoup, but he's going to have to recoup. But if he doesn't do it with a positive message and a vision, then I think he could be finished. It's just too early to say that. It's early and a long way away. Many things are going to happen.